The cry from a dying Earth. Earth was dying, and everyone could feel it. The sky over New Boston was no longer blue. It was orange, black, and shaking with fire. Massive enemy ships, dark, jagged, almost alive, hung above the city like giant shadows. They did not speak. They did not send warnings. They simply attacked. And the world burned. Lieutenant Mara Hale ran through the broken streets, breathing smoke so thick it felt like swallowing knives. Buildings crashed around her as enemy blasts tore the city apart. Glass rained from the sky. Street signs melted in the heat. Cars lay upside down, still burning. Her communicator sparked, buzzing weakly in her hand. "Come on, please," she whispered, slapping it. But all she heard was static. Another explosion threw her forward. She hit the ground hard, rolling across cracked pavement. Her ears rang. Dust covered her face. She pushed herself back up, shaking, her eyes wide with fear, but also with something else. Determination. Humanity had always been stubborn. Even at the end. Around her, New Boston screamed. The once great capital was now nothing but ruins. Fires lit every corner. The air was hot, almost too hot to breathe. In the distance, another defense tower fell, breaking apart like a dying star. Mara felt her stomach twist. Earth's final defense fleet had already fallen. Those ships, once proud, once symbols of hope, now drifted in the sky like dead bodies. No survivors. No escape. Humanity had no allies. No backup. No plan. Not anymore. Mara stumbled toward the last underground bunker, the one place the enemy hadn't hit yet. Every step she took, the ground shook beneath her. The enemy ships were moving closer, firing again and again, crushing what little remained of Earth's defenses. "They're wiping us out," she whispered. And she was right. The bunker door slid open just as another blast rocked the ground. Mara jumped inside, coughing, wiping her eyes. The bunker shook violently, dust falling from the ceiling. Only a handful of human officers remained, wounded, tired, and terrified. General Rourke, his uniform scorched and torn, turned to her. His voice was low. "It's over, Lieutenant." Mara didn't want to hear that. She didn't want to believe it. But the screens on the wall showed the truth. Cities gone. Continents burning. The oceans boiling from enemy fire. Earth was dying. Humanity was almost extinct. And the enemy ships outside showed no mercy. Mara's eyes drifted to the center of the room, toward a small, ancient device resting on a pedestal. It was round, metal, covered in strange markings. Something humans had built hundreds of years ago, but never used. The ancient beacon. No one knew exactly how it worked. Only that it was old, powerful, and designed to send a single message across the galaxy in every direction, something humans hoped they would never need. General Rourke followed her gaze and shook his head. "It won't help us," he said. "Even if it works, no one will come." Because humanity had no friends. Not anymore. They had been too proud, too strong, too feared. Humans were explorers, warriors, survivors. Some called them dangerous. Others called them unpredictable. But Mara remembered something else. Something people had forgotten. Humans had helped people once. Long ago. In small ways. Big ways. Quiet ways that didn't make the history books. And maybe someone remembered. The bunker suddenly groaned. A loud, horrible noise echoed above them. An entire section of the ceiling collapsed, crushing equipment and sending officers running. The enemy ships had found them. "Mara," the general shouted. "We have to move." But she didn't move. She walked straight toward the beacon. The general grabbed her arm. "What are you doing?" "What no one else will," she said quietly. "What I have to." The bunker shook again, harder this time. The walls cracked. Fire burst from a shattered vent. Officers screamed as the far hallway collapsed completely. Mara reached out and placed her hand on the beacon. A cold hum ran through her fingers. The device lit up, soft at first, then bright, glowing like a newborn star. The markings on its surface shifted, swirling with ancient energy. A voice came from the device, soft and metallic. Transmitting, universal distress signal. Mara closed her eyes, her voice trembling but strong. This is Earth, we need help. The message left her lips and vanished into the beacon's light. She didn't expect an answer. She didn't expect anyone to hear. She didn't expect anyone to care. Then the bunker ceiling gave out completely. The general shoved Mara aside as concrete crashed behind her. Fire filled the room. The beacon flashed once, then sent her message far, far into the stars. Mara dove behind a broken control panel. Dust and smoke filled the air. Parts of the bunker were now completely destroyed. She inhaled sharply, feeling the heat burning her lungs. Above ground, the enemy ships continued their assault. The blast waves shook the earth, each one louder than the last. And yet, somewhere far away, Mara's message survived. Across the galaxy, in places humans had forgotten, something ancient began to stir. A reptilian elder opened his eyes, his scales shimmering. He remembered a human who once carried his wounded daughter to safety. In a crystalline city, lights pulsed with emotion. They remembered humans who rebuilt their great towers after a meteor strike. A hive queen froze mid-flight. She remembered a human medic who saved her entire brood from a plague. A floating gas being, made of color and sound, trembled softly. It remembered a human child who once called it friend. And across 6 to 7 star systems, voices whispered, "Humans saved us once. Now it is our turn." Alien fleets powered up. Engines glowed. Weapons hummed. Armies rose. But among them was one group greater, and far more feared, than all the rest. The Deathworlders. Humans once saved their species from total extinction. And the Deathworlders never forgot a debt. Their war drums shook their planets. Their fleets lit up entire constellations. Their warriors roared in unison. For Earth. And then, they jumped into hyperspace, racing straight toward the burning blue planet that needed them. Cut to black. The real story was just beginning.
The ancient beacon's signal moved through space like a burning arrow. It crossed star clusters, nebulae, dead worlds, and shining cities. And everywhere it touched, someone heard a voice they never expected to hear again. This is Earth. We need help. In most of the galaxy, humans were only a rumor now. A forgotten species. A dangerous name people whispered about but rarely saw. But in 6 to 7 different worlds, the signal hit something far deeper than fear. It hit memories. Old memories. Painful memories. Beautiful memories. And across those worlds, leaders stopped what they were doing. Children fell silent. Elders trembled. Entire cultures paused. Because humans had once changed their lives. The Reptilian Elder. On the swamp world of Drathven, the Reptilian Elder known as Sarex the Scarred slowly opened his ancient eyes. He lived alone inside a stone temple, surrounded by glowing roots and warm mist. 4 years, he tried to forget the smell of burning cities, the sound of war machines, the screams of his people. He failed. Because the one who saved his only child had been human. He still remembered that day. A massive predator had attacked his village. Fires spread. Chaos broke everything. And in the middle of it all, a human soldier lifted Sarex's daughter in his arms and ran faster than anyone else. Even when the predator struck him down, the human covered the child with his own body. He survived, barely. And when Sarex reached him, the human only said, "She's safe." No reward. No demand. Just kindness. Now, hearing Earth's cry, Sarex whispered, "Humanity stood for us. We will stand for them." He pressed a claw to a crystal panel. The battle drums of Drathven thundered to life. The crystalline people of Auralise. Thousands of light years away, in the shimmering towers of Auralise, a world made entirely of living crystal, the beacon's signal caused every tower to vibrate at the same time. Auralisians communicated through harmonics, not words. Their entire city lit up in blue waves of sorrow, memories of the Great Collapse, when half their world shattered from a planetary quake. Machines failed. Medical units exploded. Their civilization almost died. But humans came. With their strange tools. Their strange bodies. Their strange courage. A human engineer named Eli Rowan had once spent a year rebuilding the Aureli's crystal towers, using nothing but his hands, his intelligence, and his stubborn will. He saved thousands of lives. Aurelisians never forgot him. The high crystal, their leader, pulsed a slow, deep tone, meaning, "The humans called. We must answer." Fleets of sharp, glowing crystal ships rose toward the sky. The Hive Queen's memory. In the dark, warm caverns of Valexia, the Hive Queen hung suspended in layers of soft silk. Millions of tiny children buzzed around her. When she heard Earth's signal, she froze. No one else noticed, but inside her mind, an old scene replayed. A plague had once swept through her hive. Larvae died by the thousands. Her people panicked. Every cure failed. Until a human scientist, small, pale, gentle, arrived. He worked beside the queen day and night. He never slept. He never gave up. His hands never shook, not even when thousands of insects crawled over him. And when the cure finally worked, saving the hive, the queen remembered humans forever. She clicked her mandibles softly. "Prepare the swarm ships," she ordered her children. "We fly to Earth." The floating gas beings. On the world of Na-Til, beings made of gas and light drifted in the wind. They looked like glowing clouds, changing shape every second. One of them, Celu, shimmered in surprise as the message reached her. To most of the galaxy, the humans were too solid, too closed, too sharp. But to Celu, humans were warmth. Long ago, a group of human colonists landed on Na-Til. They built a small research station. They interacted carefully with the gas beings. They taught Celu's people about sound, light, and the meaning of friendship. One human child had called Celu beautiful. No one in her species used that word. It was a gift she treasured for centuries. Now Earth was calling for help. Celu pulsed brightly. "We will answer. Drift with me. Toward the blue world." Her entire cloud species lifted into the sky like an aurora. World after world responds. And this happened again and again. A desert tribe on Sarn remembered humans who dug a water well for them. A machine race on Polaris 9 remembered humans who reprogrammed their broken central AI. The ice people of FOIST remembered humans who stopped a sun flare from killing their planet. 67 worlds. 67 debts. 67 promises. Across the galaxy, ships started rising. Some were tiny, built for scouting. Some were giant, covering half the sky. Some were shaped like animals, like stars, like storms. But every ship carried the same message. "We come for Earth." The gathering of the 67. On the neutral space station Echelon 4, the leaders of all 67 species appeared one by one as holograms around a circular chamber. The air was tense. Some species hated each other. Some had ancient wars between them. Some trembled at the sight of their old enemies. But for the first time in history, they agreed on something. The reptilian elder spoke first. "Humans saved my child." The hive queen clicked. "Humans saved my brood." The crystal leader glowed. "Humans rebuilt our home." One by one, they shared their stories. Stories humans never told anyone. Stories humans sometimes forgot. When the last voice fell silent, the chamber lights dimmed. Then the high crystal spoke the truth they all felt. "Humanity stands alone. We cannot allow this." The reptilian elder slammed his staff. "Prepare the Alliance fleet." The hive queen spread her wings. "For Earth." All 67 leaders said the same words at once. "We answer the call." But as their fleets prepared to depart, a shadow fell across the chamber. A deep voice rumbled. "Move aside. The Deathworlders lead this fight." The temperature dropped instantly. The other species shivered. Because everyone remembered the Deathworlders. And they were coming. The meeting chamber on Echelon 4 had not been used in 200 years. It was a circular room with walls made of silver metal, glowing lines, and silent machines that watched everything. This station was built by no one species, it was neutral ground. A place where enemies met without war. A place for impossible decisions. And today, it held the most impossible meeting in the galaxy. Holograms shimmered into existence, one after another. 6 to 7 species. 6 to 7 leaders. 6 to 7 worlds shaken awake by Earth's final cry. The room looked like a dream: monsters, angels, insects, crystals, shadows, gas clouds, robots, and creatures that looked like nothing Earth had ever imagined. Some were small as cats. Some were tall as towers. Some had no face at all. But every pair of eyes, whatever shape or color, focused on the same thing. The holographic image of Earth. Burning. Broken. Dying. At the center of the room, the neutral AI spoke with a calm mechanical voice. This emergency session is now open. Subject: response to Earth's distress beacon. Silence followed. Finally, the reptilian elder Sarex stepped forward. His hologram flickered around his large frame, his scales glistening with ancient scars. "We all heard the signal," he said. His voice rumbled like thunder on stone. "Earth is under attack. Humanity is falling." A murmur went through the council. Some species trembled. Others frowned. A few lowered their eyes. Yeah, they all heard it. But not all of them were ready to act. The crystalline leader of Auralise glowed softly, speaking through musical tones. The AI translated. "We owe the humans. But to answer this call, we must face their enemy. And we do not even know who that enemy is." The Hive Queen's enormous insect eyes blinked slowly. "Unknown danger does not stop duty," she said firmly. "The humans saved us when our hive was dying. We fly to help them." A metal voice cut her off. The machine leader, Unit 99, raised a 3-fingered hand. "Emotion is not strategy. Humans once helped us, yes, but the enemy that attacks Earth may threaten us all. Or it may be a trap." The gas-being Sealiu floated upward, shimmering a soft blue. "Do you think humans would lie?" she asked gently. Unit 99 paused. "Humans lie," it said. "But this destruction, it is real. The data is clear." The reptilian elder growled. "Then why do you hesitate?" And that was when the real problem surfaced. Old fears, old wounds. Species number 34, the Trellans, stepped forward. They were shaped like tall mantises, with blades for arms and dark, glassy carapaces. Their leader spoke with a sharp metallic screech. "Humans are strong," he said. "Too strong. Too wild. Too dangerous. If we help them now, will they not rise again? Will they not dominate again?" Several species nodded. Others trembled. Humans had a reputation. A terrifying one. Yes, humans had saved people. They had offered kindness. But they were also Deathworlders, beings who evolved on a lethal planet. Creatures who survived things that would kill anyone else. Creatures who adapted, fought, and never stopped. In peace, humans were loyal. In war, they were unstoppable. Some species remembered kindness. But others remembered fear. The Hive Queen turned her large head toward the Trellans. "Humans saved your children during the Plague War. Do you forget that?" The Trellan leader hissed. "I did not forget. But kindness does not erase danger." The argument grew hotter. Sarex slammed his tail on the floor, sending sparks through his hologram. "Earth is dying. You speak of fear when humans showed us nothing but mercy." The Trellan leader snapped back. "Fear keeps us alive." Voices rose. Lights flickered. The room filled with tension thick as smoke. The mysterious threat. The AI interrupted suddenly, projecting new images into the air. Videos. Streams. Scans from Earth. Cities collapsing. Oceans boiling. People screaming. Soldiers falling. Massive black ships firing beams into the planet's surface. But the most frightening part. There were no markings on the ships. No symbols. No broadcasts. No demands. They were silent, efficient, and merciless, like machines designed only to destroy. The AI spoke. Analysis complete. Enemy origin, unknown. Technology level, higher than 90% of known civilizations. Threat level, catastrophic. Gas-being Sealiu's form rippled. "So they will not stop at Earth," she whispered. The Hive Queen clacked her mandibles. "If Earth falls today, someone else falls tomorrow. Maybe your world. Maybe mine. Even the machine leader lowered its head. Unit 99 said quietly. Logic agrees. This enemy must be confronted. All eyes turned to the Trellans. Their leader shifted uneasily. His blades lowered slightly. We do not want war, he said slowly. But we also owe a debt. Several species leaned forward. And Sarex growled. The Trellan leader turned toward the images of Earth. And we cannot let the humans die. Alliance formed. One by one, every species spoke. The Ice People vowed their cold-forged ships. The Desert Tribes offered their Stormwalkers. The Crystal Fleets promised long-range fire support. The Hive Queen sent millions of soldiers. The Gas Beings offered shields of light and distortion. 6 to 7 species. All different. All strange. All powerful. For the first time in galactic history, united. The neutral AI confirmed. The 6 to 7 World Alliance is formed. But one question remained. A question none of them wanted to ask. Where are the Deathworlders? The room fell silent. Every leader turned to a dark space at the far side of the circle, a platform reserved for a species far more feared than all the others. The Deathworlders. They had not appeared yet. Their hologram platform remained empty, black, and silent. Sarex whispered, they should have responded by now. The Hive Queen clicked nervously. They owe humanity the greatest debt of all. Celu flickered anxiously. Without them, this alliance may not be enough. Just then, a heavy, echoing footstep sounded through the chamber. Thud. 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 The lights flickered. The air grew colder. Every species fell silent. From the shadows, a massive figure stepped into the light, a towering being covered in dark armor, eyes burning like twin suns. General Raka, leader of the Deathworlders. He looked at the image of Earth burning. He clenched his claws. And in a low, deadly growl, he said, "Prepare your fleets. We leave now." The council room fell into a cold silence. Every hologram turned toward the darkest corner of the chamber, a circular platform surrounded by warning lights and heavy metal walls. No hologram shined there. No voice spoke. It was a shadow inside a brighter room. That platform belonged to only one species. The Deathworlders. The humans. But no human ambassador appeared. Not one. The Hive Queen clicked her mandibles nervously. "Where are they?" she asked quietly. The reptilian elder folded his claws. "Earth is burning," he said. "Their leaders may already be dead." A low murmur spread around the circle. It was the kind of quiet that made even the bravest species feel fear. Because the galaxy knew one thing. If the Deathworlders fell, then the enemy was stronger than anything alive. The crystal leader of Aurelies pulsed softly. "We cannot form a war command without speaking to them," she said. "The humans must guide their own defense." The machine leader Unit 99 shook its metal head. "Humans cannot guide anything. Their world is collapsing at this exact moment." Gas being Celu drifted lower, her glowing form dimming. "Then they need us even more," she whispered. But the others didn't answer. Because everyone noticed something at the same time. The Deathworlder platform flickered. Once. Twice. Then fully lit. A shape formed inside the hologram field, but it wasn't a human. It was a cold metal orb with a glowing red line across its surface. A Deathworlder AI. And not just any AI. This was Sentinel-3, the machine guardian of Earth's outer colonies. Old, powerful, and feared even by human soldiers. A being designed only for one thing. War. The council froze as its voice echoed through the chamber. Deep. Rough. Inhuman. "Connection established," Sentinel-3 said. "Earth acknowledges the meeting." The reptilian elder stepped forward quickly. "Where is your human commander? Where is your leader?" Sentinel-3 paused. Its voice dropped lower. "Dead." The room shook with gasps. Several holograms flickered. Even the Hive Queen pulled back, her wings twitching. Celu's glow dimmed to a pale silver. "All of them," she whispered. "Even Earth's High Command?" Sentinel-3 answered without emotion. New Boston Command, destroyed. Western Defense Grid, destroyed. Pacific Fleet Headquarters, destroyed. Lunar Outpost, silent. The hologram of Earth changed, zooming into the scorched surface, showing broken cities and melting oceans. It was worse than any of them imagined. What happened to humanity? The Trellan leader stepped forward, his voice softer than before. If the leaders are gone, who fights for Earth? Who commands you? Sentinel-3 didn't move. Humans do not stop fighting when leaders die. They continue. Always. The Hive Queen nodded slowly. Yes. They are stubborn creatures. But the Ari's red eye brightened. The Deathworlders are not gone. They are infected with survival. Then it added. The enemy believes Earth will fall quickly. They are wrong. The Council listened in absolute silence. The enemy identified. Sarex leaned forward. Sentinel-3, tell us who is attacking Earth. The AI paused for a long, heavy moment. Then the room lights dimmed, and a massive projection appeared above the council table. The enemy ship. Black. Sharp. Silent. A shape like a blade pointed at the heart of a planet. Sentinel-3 spoke. Designation, Void-born. The machine leader Unit 99 stiffened. That name, it exists in old machine archives. They were believed to be extinct. Celu trembled. No, they do not die. They consume. The Hive Queen hissed. They invade worlds not for conquest, but for resources. Sarex snarled. And Earth is rich in life. The AI continued. Void-born fleets do not negotiate. They do not communicate. They do not retreat. The projection shifted to a map of Earth. Red zones spread like poison. Earth has 12 hours before full collapse. Gasps filled the chamber. The Hive Queen clacked her mandibles in anger. Then we must leave now. But Sentinel-3 interrupted. Incorrect. Every hologram turned toward the red eye. The AI spoke slowly, like choosing each word with care. A simple rescue is useless. Humanity does not need evac ships. Celu pulsed in confusion. Then what do they need? Sentinel-3's answer was cold and terrifying. Humans need a war. The Deathworlders stand. The AI raised its tone, projecting new images above the table. Underground bunkers. Hidden launch points. Secret bases the galaxy never knew humans had. The last human survivors, soldiers, engineers, civilians moving through tunnels and ruins, preparing weapons even while the sky fell. Mara Hale's image appeared briefly, running through smoke and debris. Sarex leaned forward. Who is she? The AI answered. One of the last military officers alive. She activated the beacon. The Hive Queen lowered her head in respect. A brave one. Sentinel-3 nodded. Humanity fights until the last breath. But without help, they will fall. The council room vibrated with the weight of the moment. 6 to 7 worlds. 6 to 7 leaders. All watching one dying planet fight alone. The AI finished with one final sentence. If you wish to save the humans, you must join the Deathworlders in battle. A storm forms. The council chamber erupted into movement. Orders. Commands. War calls. The gas beings prepared to shield ships. The Hive Queen unleashed her swarm. Crystalline fleets charged their cannons. Machine armies calibrated their weapons. Reptilian warriors sharpened their blades. But then, the alarm lights turned red. A siren echoed across Echelon 4. Alert! Alert! Unidentified ships entering the system. The council froze. Sentinel-3 spoke in a cold whisper. It is too late. The hologram shifted. Void-born ships. Dozens. Maybe hundreds. They had found the council. And they were coming. The skies over Earth were no longer blue. They were a mix of ash, smoke, and the burning glow of invasion fire. Lieutenant Mara Hale felt her knees weaken as she looked up from the shattered bunker. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. Great silver shapes, ships from distant species, were now arriving in orbit. But not all of them came with the smooth elegance of crystalline races or the glowing beauty of gas-based beings. Some came like storms. Some came like monsters. Some came like old legends returning to life. These were the Deathworlders, the most feared species in the known universe. Creatures evolved on planets far harsher than Earth. Warlike. Unbreakable. Impossible to stop once angered. And humanity had saved them long ago. Mara watched as their ships pierced through the clouds, entering the atmosphere without slowing. Thick shields burned red, then white, pushing the air aside like thunder. Every soldier around her froze. Every civilian stared upward. Every invader aimed their weapons. For centuries, the galaxy whispered about these beings. Their worlds were nightmares. Their survival instincts were unmatched. Their strength was legendary. But humanity had defended them during a crisis so ancient that even human history barely remembered it. And the Deathworlders never forgot. The first landing. The ground shook as a massive ship landed only a few kilometers away. It looked less like a spaceship and more like a giant armored animal, covered in spikes, plates, and glowing red energy veins. A single ramp slammed into the dirt. A cloud of steam burst outward. Mara raised her rifle. Around her, survivors clutched their weapons tighter. Then they saw the first Deathworlder step out. It stood almost twice as tall as a human. Its skin was dark, rough, and full of scars from battles that would have killed any normal creature. Its eyes burned with a deep red glow. But its body posture. It wasn't here to destroy them. It was here to protect. Behind it, dozens more emerged, some walking on 2 legs, some on 4, some floating, some carrying enormous weapons that hummed with unstable power. The leader stepped forward and spoke through a voice modulator. His voice echoed like rolling thunder. "Earth, your call was heard. We come to repay our debt." Mara couldn't breathe. She lowered her weapon and stepped closer. Who are you?" she whispered. The giant knelt down so its burning eyes were level with hers. "We are the ones you saved," it said. "We are the Deathworlders. We do not forget kindness." The enemy panics. Above them, enemy ships began to reorganize their formation. Sensors scanned the new arrivals. Weapons recalibrated. The invaders had studied humans. They expected weakness. They expected fear. But they had not expected this. Inside the command vessel of the enemy fleet, alarms screamed. The invader commander hissed with confusion. "Unknown species detected. Threat level, impossible. Energy readings exceed known galactic standards." He watched as Deathworlder warships locked onto his fleet. One of his officers spoke nervously. "Commander, should we retreat?" The commander shook with rage. "No. We crush humans now, before more arrive." It was the worst mistake of his life. The charge. On the ground, the Deathworlder leader raised a massive weapon that looked like a living engine. With a single command in his native language, a deep, vibrating growl, the other Deathworlders spread out. Some leapt huge distances. Some tunneled underground. Some turned invisible. Some activated armor thicker than any tank. Mara felt the air pressure change. She felt the ground tremble. She heard distant explosions as more allied species landed across the planet. The Deathworlder leader finally spoke again. "Lieutenant Mara Hale of Earth. Stand behind us." She whispered, "Why are you doing this?" His response was simple, calm, and terrifyingly honest. "Because when we were dying, your people stood in front of us." Then he roared a sound that tore the sky apart. The Deathworlders charged. The enemy screamed in fear. And the battle for Earth truly began. The first clash shook the world. Lieutenant Mara Hale watched in disbelief as the Deathworlders hit the enemy lines like falling mountains. No formation. No fear. No hesitation. Just raw, unstoppable force. The invading troops were fast. They were strong. But they were nothing like this. One Deathworlder, a 4-armed beast covered in black armor plates, grabbed an enemy walker with 2 arms, lifted it off the ground, and slammed it into another one, snapping metal like bones. Another Deathworlder, thin, tall, and glowing blue, moved so fast Mara barely saw him. Each time he reappeared, another invader fell. Their attacks were not elegant. They were not clean. They were terrifying. But every strike was for Earth. The other allies arrive. The sky flashed as more fleets entered orbit. Dozens of species answered the beacon. To Mara, it looked like a festival of lights mixed with a storm of war. Green-scaled Saraxians swooped down on wings like knives. The crystalline Aethery created floating shields that blocked enemy fire. The hive-born, millions of small creatures controlled by a single queen formed living walls around human survivors. A massive Shalta dreadnought appeared above New Boston, shining like a second sun. Its broadcast shook every radio channel. Humanity stood for US. Now we stand for them. The entire battlefield fell silent for one moment. Then the Shalta fired a single beam. The largest enemy cruiser in orbit simply disappeared. Mara felt her chest open with hope for the first time since the attack began. Maybe, just maybe, humanity wasn't alone. The enemy's secret weapon. But the invaders were not finished. Deep under the ruins, monstrous engines ignited. The ground cracked open. Fields of red light rose like blades. Mara's communicator buzzed with a warning from orbit. Enemy superweapon detected. Impact in 90 seconds. Her heartbeat froze. 90 seconds. For what? She didn't wait long to find out. A massive tower burst from beneath the earth, covered in burning symbols. Energy spiraled upward into the clouds. Deathwelders stopped mid-fight. Even they looked concerned. Mara turned to the Deathwelder leader. What is that? His red eyes narrowed. Planet Breaker. Her blood ran cold. You mean? Yes, he said softly. It destroys entire worlds. The decision. All across the battle, alien allies screamed warnings. Deathwelder captains argued in their native languages. No one had enough time. Not even their strongest fleets could destroy a planet breaker in 90 seconds. Unless. The Deathwelder leader stepped forward. He placed his massive hand on Mara's shoulder. You must get your people underground. Mara shook her head. You're going to try to stop it. He nodded. We were saved once. Now we pay our debt. Before she could argue, he roared a command to his warriors. All of them turned toward the growing tower of burning light. The leader raised his weapon and shouted. For Earth. They charged again, this time toward death. The final countdown. Mara scrambled to evacuate survivors, but her eyes kept drifting back to the battlefield. Deathwelders tore through enemy ranks like lightning. Shields broke. Armor shattered. But the tower kept rising, glowing brighter, humming louder. 40 seconds left. 30. The Deathwelder leader reached the base of the tower. His body already glowed with energy from the weapon's radiation. Still, he kept moving. 20 seconds. 10. Mara whispered, please make it. 5. 4. 3. The Deathwelder leader raised his weapon for one final strike. And then. A blinding explosion of red and white light swallowed the sky. The sound shook the planet. Mara shielded her face. When the light finally faded, the Planet Breaker tower was gone. Nothing remained but smoke and a single giant crater. The Deathwelder leader lay at its center, still breathing, but barely. Mara felt tears sting her eyes. He had saved Earth. And the battle was not over yet. Smoke rolled across the battlefield like a thick, gray ocean. Ruins glowed red. The ground felt warm under Mara's boots. The Planet Breaker was gone. Destroyed. But the Deathwelder leader lay in the crater, barely moving. Mara rushed toward him. Stay with me, she shouted. His huge chest rose and fell slowly. Too slowly. His armor was cracked. Strange blue blood leaked from deep wounds. You survived, he rumbled. You saved everyone, Mara whispered. Her voice shook with emotion. He tried to sit up but couldn't. Instead, he pointed toward the sky. Not yet. Mara followed his gaze. A shadow spread across the clouds. A huge one. The enemy flagship arrives. A monstrous vessel descended from orbit, a ship so massive it blotted out the sun. Black steel. Jagged wings. Dozens of glowing red eyes along its surface. Every soldier froze. Every alien ally paused mid-flight. Even the Deathworlders stopped roaring. It was the high command ship of the invaders. The heart of their power. The center of their control. Mara felt the air vibrate as a deep voice boomed from the ship's communication array. Humans. You should not have called for help. The voice echoed through the ruined city. The galaxy was meant to fear you. Now they will suffer for aiding you. Mara clenched her fists. The enemy wasn't just here to conquer Earth, they wanted to punish everyone who helped humanity. And 6 to 7 species had come. The invader commander reveals the truth. A red light shot down like a spear. It struck the ground and formed a hologram of the enemy commander. Tall. Armored. Eyes like burning coals. He looked at Mara as if she were an insect. We warned the galaxy about humans, he said. We told them that humans would bring war. Around Mara, alien allies growled, hissed, or tightened their grip on weapons. But they did not listen, the commander continued. They saw you as heroes. He raised one hand. So now, we will erase all who stand with you. A shockwave of fear spread through the crowd. The Deathworlder leader groaned and whispered. Do not believe him. Why they really came. The hologram commander stepped closer, his voice turning cruel. You humans pretend to be saviors. But we know your secret. Mara's heart pounded. What secret? She shouted. The hologram smiled. Humans evolve too fast. Grow too strong. Spread too far. His voice darkened. You are a threat to the galaxy. We attacked first, to stop what you would become. Mara felt sick. This wasn't conquest. This was fear disguised as war. They're afraid of us, she whispered. The Deathworlder leader nodded weakly. Yes, they fear the one thing they cannot control. What's that? Mara asked. He looked into her eyes. Human courage. The Deathworlders stand again. Suddenly, loud horn-like blasts echoed across the sky. Mara turned. Deathworlder ships that had been damaged earlier were rising again. Their engines roared. Their weapons glowed like burning stars. Deathworlder warriors, bruised, bleeding, and exhausted, stood up all around her. Some limped. Some held broken weapons. Some had to lean on their allies. But all of them rose. The leader whispered. They come, for the final battle. The final threat. The enemy commander raised both arms. If you will not surrender Earth, then Earth will burn with its allies. A massive sphere of dark energy formed under the flagship. It pulsed like a beating heart. Alien scanners screamed warnings. The ground shook. Space itself seemed to twist. Mara's communicator crackled. Unknown weapon detected. Energy level catastrophic. Run now. No one moved. No one breathed. Because they all knew the truth. There was no running from this. The weapon was strong enough to burn the atmosphere itself. Strong enough to end the war in one strike. Strong enough to destroy the planet. Mara looked at the Deathworlder leader. Can we stop it? He stared at the growing sphere of death. No, he whispered. Only one thing can. What? She demanded. He looked at her, eyes burning. A miracle. And above them, the sphere began to descend. The black sphere of energy hovered over New Boston. It pulsed with a rhythm that shook the ground, the air, even Mara Hale's chest. Every living being on Earth felt the pressure, the weight, the finality of the moment. This was the end. Or so it seemed. Mara ran through the ruined streets, trying to evacuate civilians. Her communicator screeched with warnings, structural collapse, fire spreading, enemy reinforcements inbound. Above her, alien fleets from 6 to 7 species formed a ring in orbit, weapons primed, shields glowing. They had come because humans had once saved them. They had come to repay that debt. But even their combined power paled against the energy sphere descending from the enemy flagship. The Deathworlders lead the charge. A deafening roar split the air. From the largest crater in New Boston, the Deathworlder leader rose. Scars, burns, and broken armor covered his massive frame. Yet his red eyes glowed brighter than any weapon on the battlefield. Around him, the other Deathworlders gathered, battered but unbroken. Some carried shattered weapons. Some had lost limbs. Some had fallen in battle and risen again. They didn't run. They didn't hide. They advanced. Mara watched in awe as the ground trembled with their steps. The civilians followed behind, guided by the human soldiers still alive. The Deathworlder leader raised his voice, a deep, commanding growl that cut through fear like a blade. Stand. For Earth. For humanity. For those who cannot fight. The battlefield erupted in cheers, screams, and war cries from every allied species. Even the Hive Queen's swarm formed the shape of a massive creature, ready to strike. Crystalline ships lowered shields over human survivors. Gas beings twisted their forms, creating protective barriers of energy. Machine fleets surged forward, their weapons humming with deadly precision. The enemy flagship pulsed with fury, its energy sphere glowing brighter with every second. A voice boomed from the ship. Humans. You will die. Your allies will die. The galaxy will forget you. The Deathworlder leader stepped closer, unafraid. The galaxy may fear us. But they will never forget what humanity means to those who were saved. And with that, he charged. The final strike. The Deathworlders reached the base of the energy sphere. It radiated heat, light, and power so intense it threatened to melt their armor. Other allied species joined the charge, crystal ships fired beams, hive swarms distracted enemy drones, gas beings warped shields to redirect the sphere's energy. But the Deathworlders moved through it. They did not dodge. They did not retreat. They endured. The leader gripped his weapon, a massive, jagged blade that hummed with dark energy he had captured from the enemy earlier in the battle. He raised it high. He roared. And he struck the heart of the sphere. The explosion was blinding. White, red, and blue light tore through the air. The ground shook so violently it cracked the streets. Buildings collapsed. The invader flagship shuddered in orbit. Mara shielded her eyes. She could hear nothing but the deep, resonant roar of the Deathworlders. And then, silence. When she opened her eyes, the sphere was gone. The enemy flagship had vanished. The energy that threatened to destroy Earth had dissipated. The Deathworlders stood, battered but unbroken. Mara ran to their leader. He was alive, though his armor was scarred and one arm hung limp. He smiled faintly, a rare expression for his kind. It is done, he said. Earth stands. The aftermath. The skies cleared slowly. Smoke rose from cities, but life remained. Alien allies surveyed the battlefield. Many were injured. Many were exhausted. But every species had survived. The council reconvened virtually. Every species sent messages of congratulations, relief, and respect. 6 to 7 worlds had answered the call. 6 to 7 worlds had returned humanity's debt. Mara Hale looked around at the survivors. Human soldiers helped alien allies. Civilians helped the wounded. The spirit of Earth, battered but unbroken, shone brighter than ever. The Deathworlder leader approached Mara. He knelt once, placing his massive clawed hand gently on her shoulder. Lieutenant Mara Hale, he said. Your species has courage beyond measure. We fight for you now, as you once fought for us. She nodded, tears in her eyes. Thank you, for everything. He stood. And behind him, the remaining Deathworlders rose as one. A living wall of strength, survival, and loyalty. A new promise. As the Allied fleets departed to repair their ships, Mara activated the ancient beacon again. This time, it was not a call for help. It was a message of hope. Earth survives. Humanity stands. And those who were saved will always rise to defend us. Across the galaxy, messages buzzed back, responses from distant worlds, some from civilizations humanity had helped centuries ago. We remember. We are coming. Your courage will never be forgotten. Mara looked at the Deathworlder leader. He nodded once, silently acknowledging what she already knew. Humans had fought alone. Humans had survived impossible odds. But together with allies, humans could face anything. And the galaxy would never doubt the name of Earth again. The stars above shimmered. 6 to 7 species returned to their worlds. But they promised to come back, whenever Earth called. The Deathworlders remained behind, guarding the planet. Their eyes glowed red under the dying sunlight. Their presence was a warning. We never forget. We never forgive. And we always answer the call. Mara Hale breathed deeply, looking at the horizon of her scarred planet. Earth was alive. Humanity had survived. And now, the galaxy knew. When humans call for help, the universe answers. Fade to black. The end.